civil society organisation, the Green Connection, has welcomed the decision by TotalEnergies to abandon 2 of the 4 blocks it has exploration and production rights to in South Africa. It says the company's decision to withdraw from the blocks off the south and west coasts are significant victories for the socioeconomic and environmental rights of coastal communities and the planet. The Green Connection says as South Africans suffer the intensifying impacts of climate change, we must recognise that we are at the point where exploring, innovating and investing in renewable energy is crucial. Lisa Makaula, who's the Advocacy Officer at the Green Connection, joins us for more. Lisa, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. You've welcomed the move by TotalEnergies to abandon the gas fields projects in the country. Talk to us about some of the reasons why.
So we basically welcome the decision that TotalEnergies just announced, that is to abandon Block 11B and 12B in the south coast of South Africa, as well as 567 that is in the southwest coast of South Africa. And the reason being, we are in a climate crisis, and we are hoping that, you know, these multinational oil and gas companies are going to start diverting their investments towards sustainable energy projects. And also, I mean, the International Energy Agency report has highlighted that there is no need for new investments, particularly in the oil and gas sector, because assets could become stranded in future, since most of the countries are transitioning away from fossil fuels, you know, in order for us to meet our climate agreements, since South Africa did sign on them. So, I mean, this is quite a huge victory as well for coastal communities that are dependent on oceans for their livelihoods, especially small-scale fishers.
What would you say to critics who may argue that it's a blow to the industry's ambitions to develop energy sector projects, as they blame the red tape for the exit?
I mean, first of all, what I would speak for is that South Africa does not have currently an energy plan, which is something that we are supposed to be having that would help us guide our future energy investments, which is called the Integrated Energy Plan. So, I mean, it is very important for us to have that plan that will help us guide in terms of where do we want to see our country by 2030, that will help us come up with some other ideas that will help us reach our net zero agreements. But other than that, I mean, from like an economic perspective, climate change already is like making communities suffer, you know, by climate disasters. And also, I just saw an article just today, you know, with the Reserve Bank governor. He just mentioned that, you know, climate change impacts actually could cost us economically. So, I mean, it's high time that the country does take serious actions towards curbing these issues. And I mean, we cannot be investing in fossil fuel projects, but at the same time, we have committed to reducing our net zero emissions. And at the same time, it has been proven to be more potent, methane emissions to be more potent over a 20-year period than coal. So, I mean, this project could have like cost us when it comes to like the environment as well as the climate.
So some have even weighed in to say that this is a withdrawal that now raises questions about the future of gas exploration in South Africa. What do you think it points to from an environmental perspective, and how the world is sort of shifting with the effects of climate change?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, we currently, South Africa is not exploring oil and gas. So, I mean, if we are in a path of moving away from from exploring oil and gas, why would, I mean, from fossil fuels, that's what I mean. If we are moving away from fossil fuels, why would we be continuing with projects that could come at the cost of the environment and people's livelihoods? So, I mean, that's a huge question from us, which is like an environmental, from an environmental angle in terms of the disaster and the climate impact that it could have in the communities that are already bearing the brunt. So instead of trying to invest in such projects, why don't, these companies divert their investments in sustainable energy projects, since we are also on a path of actually moving away from industries that are heavily reliant on fossil fuels to green sustainable technologies. So, I mean, this for me is like supposed to be like them trying to now strategize on coming up with proper plans that would look into now the green economy, which is currently looking quite good as an emerging industry, instead of the fossil fuel industry that, we are actually moving away from.
Yeah, with all fossil fuels responsible for the deaths of millions of people, talk to us a little bit about the ripple effect that this project could have had on the communities on the ground, and what we could be looking at had they decided to go ahead with it, had it been possible to go ahead with it.
So a lot of communities that we work with on the coast, most of them, they depend on fishing for their livelihoods. And I mean, we see how it is with our economy in South Africa. Communities are currently suffering energy poverty. So, I mean, this project could have had like an impact when it comes to their coastal livelihood, because for them, it's a livelihood to go and fish and, create a livelihood out of that. So this project could have threatened that, that livelihood. And we are really hoping that, these oil and gas companies are now going to start rethinking and diverting their investments to projects that are going to be beneficial for everyone.